Om Shanti. Today, 1st September 2023, Baba says, Sweet children, stop remembering your own bodies and that of anyone else, and recognize the Father accurately as He is and what He is, and consider yourself to be points and remember the Father in the form of a point. Question: which knowledge do you only imbibe from the Father at this time, knowledge that no one else can give you? Answer is, you live together as husband and wife, you look after your household and also remain pure. The Father gives you this knowledge at this time, no one else can give you this knowledge. You have to donate the 5 vices. The main one is lust, which you have to conquer completely. Only by remembering the Almighty authority and following His direction do you receive strength for this. Song: Have mercy on these who are unhappy. Om Shanti. That Father sits here and explains to you children, who is that Father? You children sitting in front of the Father know this. The intellect yoke of you children is now with the unlimited Father. You have to break your intellect's yoke away from limited fathers. You have to forget all your friends and relatives, your own body and your bodily relationships in the whole world. You receive this direction from the Father, that is unlimited Father. The Father never forgets the children. The Father says, even on the path of devotion, I have been looking after you devotees. However, according to the drama, you children had to forget this. It is Maya that make you forget this. Ravana also make you forget that you are souls and make you body conscious. This is in the parts of you children. It is not that you simply forget the Father there. You also forget to remember the Father, who is He and what He is, and also the knowledge of Him giving you happiness. You now know that the Father comes here every cycle. Your intellect also have to imbibe what Baba is like. People have made large images of Shivlingams. The pictures of all the others are fine, just as the pictures of Brahma, Vishnu and Shankar is fine, and they are also worshipped in the temples. However, they forget the name, form, place and time of the Supreme Father, Supreme Soul. Even they forget His image. It has been explained to you children that each soul is a point. It is a point like a star. It resides in the center of the forehead. You children now know that you are souls. The place of residence of myself, this soul, is in the body, in the center of the forehead. Everyone would accept this. It is very subtle, like a point. You also know that the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, would also be a point in the same way. He comes Himself and explains to you, I too am a point. However, people have made His large form like a Jyotirlingam in the same way as they have made a form of Buddha. On the path of devotion, they have portrayed the Pandavas with very large tall bodies. On the path of devotion, they have big pictures, whereas on the path of this knowledge, we have smaller images. God says, I am a point. In some places, they keep large images of a lingam. How would a point be worshipped? It definitely be something large that to be worshipped. The form of a point has now been explained to you. People do not understand these things. You children also did not have this understanding previously. Now that your stage has matured, you understand that it's accurate. If Baba had explained this at the beginning, we would not have understood, because a point is really nothing. We would not have accepted that. They speak of the Shivlingam from time immemorial. So what is that? The father explained that too is wrong. I, your father, am a point. You too have the form of a point, but they create large Shivlingams for worshipping, etc. They made the form of soul like saligrams, but they are not like that. A soul cannot be that big. It is very difficult to see a soul. There are very deep things and have to be understood. Each soul too is the form of a point. The part of 84th verse is recorded in such a tiny soul. 1 second cannot be the same as the next. The whole part of 84th verse is recorded in such a tiny soul. These things are nature. A whole part is in each point. In other place, the entire parts remain in the intellects of those who are to play their parts. Those are small parts, but you have to understand this part of 84th verse very well, and you also need clever ways of explaining to others. Each soul is such a tiny point. It is so tiny and yet it is so powerful. He is called the Supreme Soul, the Supreme Father. You soul become master almighty authorities by having yoga with him. You conquer Maya and then rule an unshakable, immovable, peaceful and happy kingdom. These matters have to be understood. This is your study. It is very easy. Only Father can explain this. No human being can explain it. He truly is so tiny, but he is given such a big name, the ocean of knowledge. You say that he is the seed of the human world tree. He is living. He is truth. He is imperishable. People have been saying this, but it does not interest anyone intellects what he is. They praise his virtues a great deal. You children are now sitting personally in front of the Father. You know that you souls are personally in front of him. All souls are brothers. Just think about it. We are all souls and we are just brothers. Souls are such tiny points. When we draw a picture of the incorporeal world, we show the forms of light points. Just as stars hang in the sky, in the same way we soul will be hanging in our own section in the great element. The tree has been made up of very tiny stars. Souls come from here and adopt bodies to play their parts. Your intellect should work on how soul come down, number wise. The section of each religion would be separate. The Father explained to you with examples. He also explained to you the children of the banyan tree. The Hindi language is used in many places, and so children have to explain this in that language. The Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul also explains using the Hindi language. Nowadays, they continue to spread this widely everywhere. It is difficult for there to be just one language. Some people think that the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, knows all languages, but it cannot be like that. There are so many different languages. They would have to be learned. The Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, does not need to learn anything. He explained the same language that he is used in the previous cycle. However, everyone has to study in their own language. Would the Father have to learn it? You can see that the Hindi language has been used from the beginning. Everyone continues to learn Hindi. The Hindi language is widely used in Bharat. The father also explains in Hindi and then everyone has to translate it into their own language and explains to others. Just like we are translating in English, everyone has to translate it in own language. The introduction of the father and his creation have to be explained to everyone. That one father is the bestower of salvation for all. Everyone will come to know that the father truly has come. The father says, I only come in Bharat. Bharat is my birthplace. The temples to Shiv and the temples to the deities are also here in Bharat. The kingdom of the deities is also in Bharat. The fathers too come in Bharat. The establishment of the deity religion takes place here. Therefore, the temple also definitely have to be here. Others would not have so many temples. Here there are many temples. They have pictures of Lakshmi and Narayan, Radha and Krishna, Ram and Sita in everyone's home because they exist in Bharat. However, people have forgotten how they claim the kingdom. In living form, they ruled the kingdom. Lakshmi Narayan were the empress of paradise. You also know how long it had been since they ruled the kingdom. You say 3000 years before Christ there was a kingdom of deities. So it is now 2000 years since Christ existed. Therefore, explain this particular point to those who say this. They say that there were the kingdom of deities 3000 years before the Christ. That is, there was heaven. They don't say that the Christ was in that heaven. Remember that point, right? You should ask, where were the Christians at this time? That is, where were their souls? Where were the souls of all of those of Islam, the Buddhists and the Christians? It is very easy to explain this point. They were all in the land of Nirvana, the incorporeal world. There is a corporeal world. There must definitely be many living in the world. The place of residence of all soul is in the incorporeal world, the great element. It is now in the intellect of you children that the souls of all the deities are present here at this time. This is a time when the Father comes and once again carries out the establishment of the deity religion. For example, when a religion begins, it is very small at first. When the small branches emerge and come to an end, your foundation would also be complete. It is very easy to explain the secret of the seed and the tree. The tree of the human world is that of many religions. They can understand from that when such and such a religion existed and when such and such a religion did not exist. Now, smaller religions are emerging that did not exist previously. Some branches have now emerged. Only you children know this. No one else know it. They don't know that the point form of souls and the supreme soul. Baba has come and explained to you children. You say, Baba, we are your children. We also meet you in the previous cycle. We became your children. You become the children in order to claim the father inheritance. The father says, you belong to me, that is, you have become my mouth-born adopted creation. All of you adopted. Baba speak through the mouth of Brahma. You souls are mine. You souls also say, Baba, you have entered the body of Brahma and given us your introduction, so we belong to you. As soon as you say, Baba, you should receive the fragrance of the inheritance. Only you children can say this. This is a family path. Sannyasis have disciplines. They are not father and children. Only from one father can an inheritance of property be received. Those people say that they have adopted a guru. An inheritance of property cannot be received from a guru. They renounce their property and go away to the forest. They cannot give any property away. They belong to the path of isolation. Isolation, devotion, and path of knowledge. There are three things. The father give you property, whereas you don't receive anything from them. When they go to a forest, they are called sannyasis. You too are called sannyasis. They are Hatha Yoga sannyasis, where you are Raj Yogi sannyasis. Sannyasis means those who renounce five vices. Definition of sannyasis means those who have renounced five vices. You renounce them and then go into the pure world. They have renunciation, but they do not go into the pure world. They only remain in the impure world. The father explains souls are very teeny. Such tiny things have so much strength. They are also imperishable. That father explains through this body. You and souls understand it. The father says, I come when it is the end of the iron age and everyone is tamopradhan and impure. It is then you remember me. I come when it is the conference age. It is then that the signs of destruction are visible. You truly can see this. We can see that destruction is happening all around. You have now understand everything which have to guide to others. It is now definitely the end of the Iron Age. There are also the Yadavas, Kauravas and Pandavas. There is a Mahabharat war too. Truly, they studied Raj Yoga at that time. The Pandavas gained the victory and the Yadavas and Kauravas were destroyed. There is just one religion in heaven. All the innumerable religions will be ended. The father sits here and explains this. You children know that we claim the deity status from the father through these teachings of Raj Yoga. You definitely have to make effort to become Narayan from an ordinary man. We will definitely become the father's heirs and be seated on the hearth throne. You will then claim a status according to how much effort you made. Effort makers cannot remain hidden. Effort makers cannot remain hidden. They are very intoxicated. First of all, you make a promise. After the father's birth, there is a festival of Raksha Bandhan. Father also explained after Shiv Jayanti, there is Raksha Bandhan. So, having come to know the father, you make a promise to him that we will remain pure. The father says lust is the greatest enemy. All the five vices have to be donated. The main one is lust. You have to remain very cautious about this time. Although you all live with your wives and families, to remain pure is something that requires efforts. By remembering the Almighty Authority, Father, and following His direction, you receive strength. We receive strength to remain pure from the Almighty Authority. So we have to continue to remember the Father. The Father orders that while living together, you have to remain pure. Previously, when you husband and wife live together, there would be fire. The father says live together, but there must be no fire. Acha. Essence for dharana. First point, keep the father in your heart and maintain the happiness of receiving the property. You definitely have to be completely pure. Second point, just think about how tiny each soul is and how each one has such an imperishable part recorded in him. Become a point and stay in remembrance of the Father, a point. Blessing for today is, May you be one of the clever and wisest ones and just give once of your own free with determination and receive multi-million fold in return. Detail: the cleverest and wisest children had give a handful of unwashed rice and create a multi-million fold fortune. They just give rice and in return of that receive all the powers, all the treasures and more than 36 varieties of food. However, at the time of giving, like Sudama, each like this, some children secretly hide it under their arms. The father can take it by pulling it from those children, but if it has been taken from you, you will not get that much in return. Therefore, when you give even once of your own free will with determination, it is like receiving multi millions. This is being clever. There is benefit in giving in this way. Slogan for today is those who watch every game with detachment as observer truly are detached observer. I am repeating, those who watch every game with detachment as observer truly are detached observer. अच्छा, ओम शांति.